It's the diary of a tired black man. Hey, it's the diary of a tired black man.
Peace, family. It's your boy Fonzie Neutron representing for downonline.com. Gladfully back with another special guest this week, and it's one that we've definitely been looking forward to for a while, to communicate with his brother and hear more about his program. We definitely want to say shouts out to everybody who partied with us this bank holiday weekend in Leeds, those who attended Notting Hill, Carnival. Hopefully you guys had a great time too. Also, do check us out on backtheonline.com for reviews and news. Shouts out to Mixer, he's got some new stuff dropping this week. But without further ado, we're going to get into this week's interview, and we have a special guest by the name of NK, who is also the founder of Tunes Times Tables, I should say. So definitely I've heard a lot of stuff of these guys over the years, just from listening to the radio and hearing different advertisements and stuff, working within like the youth sector and hearing different stuff. So definitely been a pleasure to have this brother around. So what's good with you, NK?
Greetings, King. Greetings, King. Everything's good, man. And even if it's not good, I have to say it's good. Because nobody don't care. So it's one of them ones where, I'm good, thank you.
I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that sentiment. Sometimes I always say things could be better, but they also could be worse. So it's like, we have to constantly, I guess, mash forward to make things good. And that definitely leads into the work and stuff you've been doing over the years with curriculum and with teaching and stuff, especially involving young people. So I just want to get a bit of a background of how you formulated the idea to start doing something so different.
How much times I've said this, and I think I'm going to always say it. Basically, what happened is I used to work in a school as a learning mentor, and a child said to me, what's 8 times 8? He was in a maths class. He said, what's 8 times 8? And at the time, I never knew what 8 times 8 was, and then all the children in the class laughed at me. I went home and asked my son, what's 8 times 8? He goes, Dad, I don't know. I said, why don't you know? Because you haven't taught me. And from there, I was like, whoa. So I left school with no qualifications in it. So for me, the traditional way of times tables wasn't sticking in my head, So how am I supposed to teach my child if I don't know it? So for me, to put the Tunes times tables together, it took many, 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 many years to do. But obviously, as you know, I've been doing this now for 17 years now.
No doubt. And I mean, what you said, something there was quite important, because oftentimes when we look at just education and stuff, it can be different when dealing with people from the diaspora, namely the Black community. Some say that there's different teaching and learning methods that need to be adopted sometimes just to, make things a bit more viable for others. Whereas, it's like reading. Some people learn one way, others learn a different way. So I'm not really one for the educational system, how it just sort of pigeonholes everything into one way of doing things. But when we're looking at, even you mentioned like the times tables, because I was always sort of fond of one aspect of multiplication, the multiplication table and all that stuff. And a lot of it can be attributed to memory. So what you did with actually adding like rhythm to it, adding like music to it, adding different sounds and elements and stuff like that, was that something that you had thought of prior, and or is it something that just kind of came about naturally?
Not really. What happened is, I feel like you made some valuable facts not long ago, and let me just touch upon them. I feel like regarding the school system, for 100 years, it hasn't changed. It remains the same. All right. And regarding our way we are taught, it's too regiment. There's no structure to it. It's just boring. And music is a very powerful tool. Very, very, very powerful tool. And I know that now more than ever that what they're trying to do is de-educate us, and I know for a fact that what I've created is educating us through the power of rhyme, rhythm, dance, fun, and action. And a lot of people who I work with I've got SEN, learning disabilities, or found the traditional way of times tables not fun or engaging. And right about now, this way of learning is the 21st century way of learning, regardless. As I said, I've been doing this for 17 years and keep growing. And the children I'm teaching or adults I'm teaching are learning quicker than ever. So the curriculum needs to change. And I'm not here to change the curriculum. I'm here to complement the curriculum, because I don't believe that I could change it on my own. However, I know that with petitions and things like that, it could be adapted to the curriculum. But right about now, this way of learning isn't going anywhere. And I can teach children as young as 4 to 104 if I actually really wanted to. But what's happening at the moment is the curriculum is only for children that are up there. They're actually dismissing the children who are down there. So many times I've met so many parents and they said that the teacher said that their child will never learn. And I'm saying, who are you to say that to a child? You're not God. Every person can be taught. Every person can be taught. And for me, when I meet a parent and they tell me that the teacher says that the child can't be learned, and then this brown skinned man comes, all right, with no qualifications and teach your child, what is that saying? Is that saying that you as a adult or as a teacher are not adapting to that learning skill? And that's what we need to do, adapt to everybody's learning skill. Like I could have been taught if somebody would have learned that my way of learning is a different way from John. You know what I mean? And what we're doing at the present moment is dismissing children who are low abilities or children who are SEN. And for me, it's a disgrace, because how are you dismissing people, all right, where you as an individual thinking that child cannot learn, but they can learn? And this is why we as adults, all right, are growing up nowadays thinking that, I'll never learn. From I can learn at 29, everybody can learn. I haven't come across one child yet who I haven't taught, you know. And for me, it's such an honor to be able to give a child that self-esteem back, that encouragement, you know, give them that self-belief. Because, you know, when you teach a child one thing, that child believes that he can learn anything. But it's all about the actual teacher. Yes, teach. Don't be telling people that you can't do this, you can't do that. We have no right. I have a right. I have no right to tell anybody that they cannot learn something. I am not God. You know what I mean? So we as teachers or awakeners, because I call myself an awakener. I actually don't call myself a teacher. You know, I just ignite that inner flame in a person, and I believe in that person. Like, I do believe right about now, people are not believing in people. That's why we're not achieving greatness at the moment.
Definitely a great point. And I mean, you laid down a lot of great points there. And I do want to sort of just, I guess, add on a cap to that where, you know, I want to encourage everybody as well to go on to TwoTimesTables.com and check out some of the videos and stuff on there also, because I was checking out a few of them on there, and, you know, it gives you a bit of an example of some of the workshops and stuff that you have in your program. Now, I saw some stuff with kids of all nationalities and backgrounds being engaged. Like, the stuff was really great. I definitely want to salute you and commend you on it because, as you said, you know, using that rhythm, using just the movements and stuff, the dancing and that sort of engaging aspect. Outside of some of the work that people might know me for, I've also done a copious amounts of work within the youth and community sector, primarily within the play sector. So when you talk about like the educational system, that's one thing that me coming from, I guess, a play worker background, we look at different elements of how children develop and learn, utilizing play and different elements where it doesn't need to be, as you quite eloquently pointed out, needs to be so regimented how it is in a certain way. So I think what you've done is very revolutionary to be able to take, you know, the multiplication table, take different aspects of and put the music and the play to it. Because when you watch those videos and you see those kids engaged, I believe you 100% when you said there's not nobody that isn't learning, because everybody's involved everybody's going with the program and getting with it and stuff. I want to ask you, did you face any opposition when you was putting this together? I know you've been working quite a few years and stuff now. What difficulties may you have found in the early days, and how did you overcome them?
Many difficulties, and even today I face difficulties. I think one, obviously, I had to prove that it worked. First, I had to create it, okay, and creating it, and I'm dyslexic, wasn't easy, and I had help from a little gentleman at the time. His name was Easy. He was about 13 at the time. He's not part of the team no more, but he helped me structure, because I'm not a lyricist. I'm just a creative person who put rhymes together, and then he was helping to put the structure together. So first of all, I had to prove that it worked. Okay. Then I had to prove to myself, obviously, the viewers don't know that I had a little criminal record, so I had to prove to people that I can be trusted to go into school with their children and be able to teach this, so that was one. And then I had to prove to myself that I had because remember, I learned my times tables at the age of 29, so I had to prove that I couldn't teach them. You know what I mean? Because I'm not coming from a teaching background. I was a qualifying learning mentor. I did play just like yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it was like watching children listen to music, and remember it. That made me know that this can be done. So that was that obstacle. I had obstacles. I used to go to the schools. Okay, and the secretaries used to say, "You've come to teach our children." I was like, "Yeah," and then after a while, I built up a rapport, and they're like, "Oh, my children love you. My children come to this school, and they can't stop praising you. Like, thank you for building up their self-confidence." So, I had a lot of obstacles I had to overcome in the school sector. There's many more. There's many more.
I could imagine, just not to cut you off, but just to add on to that, do you feel it was one of your obstacles within that just being even a male per se? Because sometimes, obviously nowadays, I don't want to get into that too much. We see all sorts of different types of people going into schools, but some people, especially back in the days, feel there could have been some inhibition from people when they see like male staff working with kids and stuff like that as well. Not to say, there's any issue with stuff, but was there anything that, is this, this brother, when they start to say, okay, he good with the kids, I'm with.
Most definitely. And you have to remember, I started this 17 years ago. So even as a brown skinned man going into school and going into Sutton Coldfield, Little Aston, Solihull, all these predominant white schools, me walking in and with my hat cranked up to the back and, just going in how I felt comfortable to deliver the service. I had children looking at me like, wow, you're coming to teach me, because obviously the stereotype of a black man isn't normally good. You know what I mean? So when I'm going into the school and I'm literally showing these children how to learn their times tables, and even like the teachers watching me from a side, because obviously I'm coming in and I'm delivering it, and the teachers are actually stepping aside and watching me. Even the teachers, I used to get funny looks from the teachers, but then when the teachers noticed that I was engaging with the children what were low ability, and the low ability children was outshining the higher level children, they'll start to build up a rapport to say that, that child wouldn't even normally stand up and do anything in the class. For you to come in and do what you're doing, it works. So over the years, I feel like showing what I can do and me having the love for working with the children, it just broke down barriers. It broke down barriers, and as I said, 17 years and I'm still doing it. You can't knock it. You can't knock it. And it ain't going anywhere.
Of course, and your work has been, once again, to salute it, has been widely documented. As I've mentioned, even before I was able to even make a contact with you and stuff, I had long heard about your program and stuff. Even just seeing advertisements, seeing you on the TV doing interviews and stuff like that. So I know it's been working for some years, and it's definitely tried and effective. There's a couple of points. I guess you kind of touched on it when you spoke about just sometimes low performing students, or sometimes there could be different issues that they're experiencing outside of the school framework. So sometimes those things can have an impact on learning, just if they've got other stuff going on around the house and just different things going on in life and stuff like that as well, which is why sometimes they might go into like the classroom environment, and if things are set one way, they might not be in the headspace to deal with it that way, but in a way where it's got something that's a bit more fun and a bit more of a creative aspect to it, that can also help them address some of the other social issues that they might be facing and stuff like that too. You spoke about obviously learning your multiplications and stuff like that a bit later on in life. So I just want to touch on that slightly as well. Did you feel there was any kind of impediment towards just how you was living and functioning in society? Because obviously I want to salute the work that you're doing with the children and stuff now, but more lend to the importance of them learning some of this stuff from early and young.
I feel like a lot of children, obviously, as you rightly said, they're coming from backgrounds where, you know, we don't know what kind of backgrounds the children are coming from in terms of like broken down families, children who are dyslexia, autism, ADHD, and all them kind of things. So when I used to go into the classroom and the teachers used to say that somebody's coming to do times tables, they used to shut up. But as soon as I started to teach and I showed them that it's not the traditional way, that's when it all changed. You see all the children who are, as I said earlier on, with lower abilities shining, looking forward to my classes. You know what I mean? Teachers are saying that child doesn't normally want to be taught. So I'm being the awakener. You know what I mean? Because obviously, as I said, the school system hasn't changed for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So when somebody like myself comes in, because when I talk about times tables to anybody, a lot of people get shook. I did as a child. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of adults out there that don't know their times table. So if you're coming to somebody with something that they don't know, you're going to ultimately put your guard up. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things, it is one of them things. So for me to go into schools and break down the barrier of a child that doesn't want to normally learn, I think it's a gift. I actually really think it's a gift. First of all, it was an idea. Then it turned into a gift. Because when I'm having parents, as I said, calling me and saying that my child will never learn, and then I come along and in 6 weeks later, 7 weeks later, however long, and I'm teaching that child, it's a gift. And this is why I haven't stopped, and I will not stop, because it's not about the money. It's about knowing that when I leave this earth, what have I done? Because this is what I am doing. It's about humanity. What am I giving back to humanity? And the gift that I have to say that I'm so honored to be able to deliver this to children and adults who are struggling. And even today, I meet a lot of children who are now in their 20s, they're in their 20s, late 20s, coming up to 30s, and I remember the songs, or thank you very much, you built my confidence, and it was an honor to be able to work with somebody like yourself. So to answer your question, I believe that everybody, doesn't matter what background you're coming from, everybody can be taught.
No, I definitely agree. And you made a point about just the gift that you was given and you continued in that work. And it's also great to see that you've taken that gift and you're also gifting back to the community and the younger generation. They do say if you teach a child, potentially that's shaping the new world going forward and stuff like that. So it's definitely great work and stuff with that being done. We've spoken about the work that you've done, obviously, in the schools and throughout centers and stuff. Do you offer any sort of one-to-one bespoke programs? I mean, for the audience and stuff, can you break down, I guess, some of the programs and stuff that you do in case somebody may want to get involved or in
Yeah.
touch, I should say?
When I first started, I actually only started with me, excuse me, me teaching in schools, and then after that, I created a CD, and then many years after that, I created resources, as you can say. I've got lyrical books, I've got manuals, I've got calendar charts, I've even got braille books for children who are braille. You know what I mean? And I do online sessions around the world.
So somebody could go on to toontimetables.com, put themselves in for an online session.
But yeah, definitely. Another thing is which you're the first person I'm telling online and to the world. The other day I was working in a school in Birmingham, and I don't even know that every year 4 child has to be tested on their times tables. It's mandatory. It's called the MCT test. The government want all children to answer 25 questions in 5 minutes. Okay. The children I teach answer 95 questions in less than 5 minutes. All right. So one particular school, I won't mention it though. I could if I wanted to though. One particular school wanted me to go in and teach, and they had me in there for a whole year. All right. And so in February, they did a mock exam. And what happened is these children have to answer 25 questions in 5 minutes. The children what I teach, as I said, answer 95 questions in 5 minutes. So cut a story short, 3,016 schools took part in this mock exam nationally. The school I teach beat every school. And I've got that in results. I could actually show you now on a piece of paper that the school I beat every school. I had a tear in my eye because I've been telling people for years that I can do this. You know, I've been telling them for years that I could do this. And when the actual head teacher read me the letter, read me the email, it says to me that, NK, you need to be proud of yourself. I said, why, what happened? She goes, look at this. Imagine 3,016 schools took part nationally, and my little Tunes times tables what I created beated everybody. And for me, that's such an honor to know that what I've created works, and I did that in 36 weeks. That was going into a school 1 day a week for an hour. And that's what I did. And the children what took part was loads of SEN children and lower ability children, and they smashed it. So for me, it's like, even on me doing this interview, like I'm nervous because I don't do interviews, and I know that I'm probably not coming across well, but the more I do it, the better I am. So I appreciate you having me on, because you know I keep myself to myself, and like what I always say is I like to do what I'm good at, and what I'm good at is teaching. Public speaking is not me, but I do need to start getting myself out there. So it's an honor to be able to come on your platform and be able to talk. And as I said, the nerves is going through me so much, and I'm a bit, but I know that eventually I'll get much better. But I just want the world to know that I am not going anywhere. I'm going to create the first educational musical. And also what I've done, sorry to cut you out, is I've created the album 1 to 12. Now I've done 13 to 20, but that's not going to be out until next year. So I'm always up in the game. But sorry, go on.
No, it's great. You kind of touched on it, I guess, because I was just saying, you know, as we wind down, I was going to ask what you was working on in terms of new projects, where you could take it to, if you had ever looked at maybe doing like any stuff based around with you know, animation or different forms of tech and stuff as well. And just, I know you're quite forward thinking and stuff as well with where you're going with it.
Yeah, all that's going to be in the pipeline. E-learning. I've actually got a script at the present moment what I need to learn. You know what I mean? So I'm in the process of learning that to do a script, so people could download me, because obviously I'm not going to be looking like this or for forever. So I need to be able to create something where the children can say, touch a button, rewind it, fast forward it. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I'm going to do another Guinness Book of Records for the largest maths class. I did one in 2010, and I was supposed to do one in 2016, but somebody let me down on the funding side to that. So that there's so much things in the pipeline, but you know, it's not about talking, it's about showing people that I am not a joke, that what I've created is here for life. And there's a saying, a man will live and die, but an idea will live on forever. And this is what I've created. So for everybody what's listening now, I am here to make a change, and I'm here to create a legacy.
And you've already led, you know, great headway towards doing so already. As you said, sometimes I do come across all sorts of different forms of people doing great stuff out there, but sometimes I may not be familiar with them prior to when we conversate or prior to when I do some research, but your work and reputation definitely precedes itself because, as I said, I was familiar with your workings and stuff prior to that. So in terms of building that legacy and laying down those fundamentals, it's work that you've already started doing. You've already, you know, cemented that. You mentioned just that school example earlier as well. I think that's a great example for you to hold that accomplishment and stuff, you know, because it's a testament to your hard work. It's a testament to knowing that. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, sorry about. Yeah. So as I was saying, it's a testament to all the hard work and stuff that you've done. I would ask before we wind down, can you maybe give us a bit of an example of one of your drills? Or I know we can clip in some of the videos and stuff as well. I might do that actually in the interview as well. I'll see, but maybe
Yeah, I can give you a sample.
I know it's not going to be as energetic as it is with all the kids and everything.
All right, I'll give you a sample of what times tables you want me to sing.
You know what? Nine's always been one of my favorite times, so probably 9.
Okay, it goes like this: 1 times 9 is 9. Keep positive things in your rhymes. 2 times 9 is 18. Like the 18, yes, the 18. 3 times 9 is 27. Tell the truth, you'll be forgiven. 4 times 9 is 36. Don't fight the urge and scratch the itch. 5 times 9 is 45. Stand your ground to stay alive. 6 times 9 is 54. The boogeyman boogieing at your door. 7 times 9 is 63. Follow we and get jiggy. 8 times 9 is 72. Tunes times tables are easy to do. 9 times 9 is 81. You never know what you got till it's gone. 10 times 9 is 90. Millipro beats are grimy. I'm spitting on the beat to make it rhymey, shiny, but don't blind me. And all these got actions and rhymes and all them kind of things there. You know what I mean? But when I'm teaching in school, you know, it's just we're just up and we're just jumping up and we're just moving and we're bouncing. You know, I sometimes I actually don't even believe how I got here. You know what I mean? Trust me, even like the other day, like many of times I wanted to give up this. Many of times. But I asked the creator, Allah, God, the universe for guidance, and he's told me don't give up, don't stop. You know what I mean? And I haven't stopped and I won't stop. But don't get me wrong, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. You know, I used to be on road and we thought road was hard. No. Sticking at your goals is hard. And this is why anyone who's listening, don't ever give up on anything. You know what I mean? It's too easy to give up. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be one of them people, you know what I mean, when I'm older and going, I should have done this, I should have done that. That will hurt me. So I have to keep going. And another thing, I'm always telling the young children not to give up. So I cannot give up.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And I do believe that I'm a multi-millionaire in the making, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. It's not about the money too, because if it was about the money, I would have been doing different things. But it's about knowing that you can get paid from doing what you love doing and turn it into the greatest thing what comes out. I want to be the next best thing to come out of England.
Well, definitely. You're well on your way. We want to definitely anything we can do to add some promotion, publicity, anything we can put it up on the website and stuff. Also, we do encourage people to obviously go on to tunestimestables.com. We will leave a link in the description. Also, like I said, once again, I definitely want to salute you for the great work and stuff. Unfortunately, we are running out of time on this one, so we do want to encourage guys to come over to battleonline.com also, where we will post some additional links. You can find out some more information in the affiliate section. So, is there anything like social media where guys can find you at? And I know you already kind of gave a little message to people, which was quite positive. I usually ask them for that, but I think we've kind of covered that. But social media and stuff like that, and then that's good.
Instagram is Tunes Times Tables, TUNESTIMESTABLES, as you can see at the back. LinkedIn, the same thing, Tunes Times Tables. And I want to say thank you for having me, because as I said, like, I don't do interviews, and I don't know how I'll come across, but I know that this is the first of many. But I appreciate you having me on, and this is me coming out my comfort zone. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think I'm much better in action teaching. But I want to say thank you for having me, and parents or children, whoever's listening, or people in the education sector, I can do exactly what you want me to do. If your children are struggling, I can help them. You know what I mean? There's a man that can. I have a gift, but I want to say thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be on your show, and it's an honor to be on your show for me to even come out of my comfort zone to be here.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. You've been nothing but real, and we can see definitely from the work that you've done and what you continue to be doing, it's what's in you. It's something that you're gifted to do, and it's giving back to the community also. So all praises due. We want to thank you with the utmost respect and wish you nothing but the best going forward and stuff with things. So it's your boy Fonzie Neutron, battleonline.com. We're going to wind down on this one, and we will definitely reconnect with NK at some point also, so you guys make sure you go out and check out his stuff. Peace.
Love you, respect. Thank you.
Racing groups, you know, just coming out and just really turning these cities. They had the UK looking like Gotham City in multiple places. Yeah.
Exactly. But to bring it back to my initial point now, I think that you know, we live in a sensationalist world, which in some ways is not always a bad thing, but I do think that
It's the diary of a tired black man. It's the diary of a tired